Okay, because our sculpture class is a three-dimensional class, it's a little bit trickier to come up with materials for you to be able to create things at home. So with this sculpture, with our geometric abstract sculpture that we started before the close of the school, we're kind of picking up where we left off. So I came up with a couple of different options and materials that you can use and find at home. Hopefully you can find these at home, and if not, again, on the document it talks about you can actually do a geometric abstract drawing that is three-dimensional in nature, and I have a couple of links in that document that sort of can help you with that. Okay, so one of the things I thought about, was cardboard and paper. So I just have like a soda box here. This is pretty flexible. That'll work. Like some poster board paper, and you can even use some really thin stuff. And you've got just some masking tape, and use it sparingly if you have it, or duct tape. Don't wrap the entire sculpture in the tape. Scissors or a box cutter. I've got like just kind of random objects that I've been saving, styrofoam that I haven't taken to recycle, like toilet paper tubes, I'm sure you got those, pill bottles, again, other containers, random things that I found around the house, and I've got some Legos here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you, it will work the same if you're using like paper or the thinner cardboard, or even a thicker cardboard. And if you have a thicker cardboard, your scissors may not do the job. You may have to find a utility knife or a box cutter if you have one of those. But the thinner stuff, like cereal boxes, any kind of like thinner boxes, works pretty good because it's pretty sturdy, and you can fold it and cut it pretty easily. So what I've started, first off, I'm going to be creating my geometric form, is I have kind of like a thin strip that's pretty long. That way I've got enough material to move, and maybe I want to fold it in like to create a cylinder, so it's going to be just like a curved thing, or maybe I want to have some edges, so I'm going to make some edges. So I'm going to do one fold, two folds, three. Let's see what I come up with here. All right, so I'm going to do kind of this oblongy kind of rectangular form. Okay, there. I'm just going to take a little tape, tape those together, so I've got my nice little form here. Okay, and this might be maybe the head of an animal that I'm going to be creating, maybe a foot. I'm not exactly sure. So now I have to have like a bottom and a top. So what I'll do, now we don't need to be tabs on this since we have tape, okay, is I'm just going to go ahead and trace around it with a pencil best you can. Mine's a little off, so I'm going to try to, and it's probably good to just cut a little bit to the outside here. I'm trying to cut a little bit straighter because my piece moved a little bit. Okay, and you'll probably want to keep, if you have boxes like this, keep this on the inside. If you want to have it on the outside, that's fine too. I just have to line it up here. And then I'm going to start taping these together. And again, don't use too much tape unless you have like tons of tape at your house. Like in the art room, I've got lots and lots of tape, and you can see sort of how that's starting to work out. And then from there, you can attach it to your other forms if you wanted to just use cardboard. Now, if you don't have any cardboard or any scissors that'll cut through it or anything like that, but maybe you do have tape, maybe you do have some kind of random objects around your home that are geometric in nature, okay? Like little pill bottles, we got cylinders, we've got some kind of cones with the top cut off because they're not really quite a total cylinder, but they're kind of a graduated cylinder there. I got some random pieces of wood in this thing here, and I can just use my tape, and I can start taping these together. So maybe I'm going to have this be like the body of my creature here. Move these out of the way. And maybe I'll just tape that straight onto there. So maybe this is going to be one of my legs. Okay. You know, if you're trying to tape it, you know, try to get it on there pretty good. Remember, neatness counts. It's not a race. Okay, so I've got my like one leg here, or maybe that's, you know, the beak of something. Okay, maybe I can have this go on the top, or come on here and tape it on like that, like so. So again, masking tape works really well. You can use duct tape. Try to get like thinner strips of it. You know, if mine's a little bit wider, I could like tear it down this way, or I could cut it so that the pieces are thinner. It allows you to sort of move a little bit better. So you can use random household objects to create your abstract geometric form from your photograph that you chose. And remember to find, if you're finding household objects, you want to find some that are geometric in nature and not organic. Okay? All right, another thing that you could do to create a sculpture is you can find things around your house, other objects. You know, and again, when I talked about doing your sculpture using objects, maybe scrap objects that you have, I mean, these are all impermanent. So maybe you have a cheese grater or something, or maybe you have something else. You know, you can tape these things down. It's not going to ruin them. You can just take the tape off, and you can kind of go from there. It's kind of an impermanent thing, okay? I mean, if you've got materials you're going to dispose of, you can make that a little more permanent. I mean, you can go as far as using various glues. You know, like hot glue will attach pretty much anything if you have that, but a lot of people don't have that, and that stuff runs out. Okay, I don't want you going to try to go to the store to find more stuff. We're just using what we have around the house. Okay, we can use building bricks, so we can get out our Legos. Okay, you can have other like non-name brand building bricks. You know, maybe they're just blocks that you're stacking. You know, come up and figure out like how you're going to be, you know, building this up to create your sculpture that's based off of your photograph that you have. Okay, so however that's going to look, you know, try to find the building bricks and the Legos that are going to, you know, that are a little bit thicker, that are the tall ones, not necessarily the skinny ones quite so much, the thinner ones, because you're going to have to use a lot of those to really sort of build up the material. Okay. Now, I had said with the sculptures that I'd like to see you try your best to see if you can get them like between 6 and 8 inches, either like tall or wide. Okay. So do your best. You know, if you have Legos, you might not be able to do that because, you know, these things are pretty small. So you may only end up with a creation, you know, that's, you know, about this big versus like this big. It just sort of depends on what you have on hand. Okay. If you're using the Legos, you can make it hollow. So if you figure out ways to do that, you are using less material to create the general piece. So hopefully this will give you a number of ways that you can actually create something three-dimensionally when you're working on your geometric abstract sculpture.